welcome to another video episode of my podcast. My name is Cheryl, and this is Cappuccino Crafts, my little channel on YouTube and my corner of the general interwebs where I like to talk about knitting and crochet and books and TV or movies or other things that I'm watching, and also life and general chatty things that I want to share with you. So thank you very much for choosing to watch this video and spend a little bit of your time with me. I hope that you enjoy it. Settle in, get yourself a delicious beverage, and grab your yarn, your hook, your needles, your embroidery, whatever you like, and let's settle in for a nice chatty time. So today is Monday, October 12th. It's been another week, and I'd say it was a good week. I feel good. Definitely less anxious. Also feel like some good things got accomplished, and yeah, the news is still horrible and a giant mess, but I'm just trying to stay informed as I need to, and yeah, yeah. So I hope that you had a good week. I hope that your crafting is going well. What are you working on? What are your projects like? And have you finished anything recently? What have you finished? Yeah, I finished one thing. Let's look at that first. I finished this crochet cotton thread summer lace scarf. It's still like a little lumpy. It has not been soaked and blocked, so it's not like smoothed out and looking its best, but I am excited about this. I'm really happy with it. And it was a nice project to work on. Yeah, and I think I will enjoy wearing it in the spring and summer for something a little bit pretty, a nice accessory. And I am wearing an accessory here. I have the shoulder wrap. I originally intended to seam the ends together, but I decided, maybe having a shawl, using my shawl pin, which I've had and I have used for a few years, maybe just using the shawl pin would make it a little more versatile and make me able to get it to fit exactly the way I like and sit exactly the way that I want. So I think I've decided this is what I want to do with it. I could change my mind later, and that would be perfectly fine. If I want to seam it up later, I can. But for now, and it is so toasty warm. It has been really getting colder, getting more and more fall. The trees are starting to turn color, and it's looking beautiful, and I need a little toasty, cozy warmth, and this is just perfect. It is, the yarn is a wool alpaca blend in a chunky weight, so it is very cozy, very toasty warm, and I am super happy with it. I have continued on my socks. Yep. have this pattern. It's a knit pattern by Mika Klein. It's been translated into English, and there's a free version available for download on Ravelry as a PDF. But they didn't when they translated the pattern, they kept the same name from the original language, which is Glanzenda Drachenschuppe Handstulpen. Yeah, which translates to shiny dragon scale mitts. But I am going to turn these into socks. Instead of a thumb, I'm going to make a heel. When these get a little bit longer, I think I'm probably about maybe 2.5 centimeters or an inch away from the length I would want for a leg. And then I will be ready to start a heel. I love these autumn colors. And when I made the mitts, I knew I wanted to do socks another time, because I always thought this would be a really nice looking sock too. So that's what I'm doing now. And I have made more progress on my Japanese garden shawl. This is the left side I am working on now. This is the center. And the right side is finished. So I have also woven in all of the ends so far. There will be some more ends being made as I go through the stripes to finish this side, but right now I am all caught up, and that makes me feel good. I'm gonna just kind of weave in as I go from now on, and when I finish the left side, it will be a celebration because there won't be a bunch of ends to finish. The ends will already be done, and it will be just ready to block and trim and wear. And I will love wearing this. I can't wait to wear it. I did film a short clip of me knitting on the last couple of rows before I start the bind off. I have completed, I'm ready to start the bind off now on my Te Whenua mystery knit along pattern. It's the Craftivist Cal, and the knit pattern is Te Whenua by Aroha Knits, who designs beautiful, beautiful shawls. But last week I said I wasn't going to show it because it was so close to being done, and it was already pretty close to being done the last time that I showed it in detail. And so I'm like, the next time I show it, it's going to be finished. So I let you see a peek while the final rows were being done, but now I'm going to do the picot bind off. That's all that remains is the picot bind off, and it is in here. And this coming week I will do the bind off, but I just held up the bag. And that is the crafting. Yeah, I have also been reading and enjoying what I'm reading. I signed up for Netgalley just out of curiosity, really. Some of the booktubers that I watch get electronic, digital, advanced reader copies to read and review for free from Netgalley, and anybody can sign up. All you need is somewhere, anywhere to post your book reviews of the things that you read. They do ask you to link to a social media account or a website where your reviews are visible. And I linked to my Goodreads. And I was just curious because I've heard them talk about it, and now I know, as a new person and also a person not with a big platform, I'm not really planning on requesting a bunch of ARCs for big books. I mean, like, as far as popular releases, that because I don't expect them to approve me for those. But what I've heard from them is that you can anybody that posts reviews anywhere on the web, you can sign up, and the publishers do have certain titles that they have pre-approved for general Netgalley Netgalley users, for anybody to be able to read as pre-approved. It's called Read Now, or recently they started having audio books available. So there are also some audiobooks that are pre-approved as Listen Now. So I was just curious. I'm like, what kind of titles do they have available even for like Read Now or Listen Now? Would there be even anything interesting that I would want to read? It was just kind of an experiment out of curiosity, just to see what might be available and if there would be anything that I might want to read. So I did. I signed up for Netgalley, and there isn't a lot of selection. I didn't expect it to be like a big number of titles, but and most of them were not interesting to me. But I saw a cover that looked very dystopian, like one person standing alone in like a ruined landscape, and I'm like, ooh, that looks like maybe my kind of dystopian science fiction. That might be fun. So I looked at the blurb to see what it was about, and it's like a military sci-fi action dystopian kind of a thing, which sounded like, okay, I'd like to give this a try. So I clicked on Read Now, and I'm like, is this even gonna work? Are they gonna really let me read it now? And it was on my shelf, and I downloaded the Netgalley Shelf app on my phone, and it was there. And I've been reading it on my phone. It's not an audiobook. I'm reading the ebook with my eyes. And the format, I will say, not the best reading experience. but it's an ARC and it's free. And yeah, it's not formatted as nicely as some ebooks that I have read from the library. But it's okay. I'm still able to read it. And I am enjoying the book so far. I'm like 50% of the way through. And yeah, it's a military action sci-fi dystopian adventure. There is a the main character is a well, there's two main characters, a husband and wife. The wife is a super black ops agent who has retired. She retired early. She's not, she got disillusioned. Something happened. I'm not sure if it's going to be revealed in the novel or not, but there was some event that happened. She became disillusioned and was like, I'm done with this life. I'm going to be a civilian. I'm getting out of this. So yeah, she's been adjusting to civilian life, and as a civilian, she fell in love and married this great guy. And then he, after a few years, they've been together, but there's this big space war, and he decides he needs to volunteer. He's not even drafted. He decides, I need to volunteer. I need to do my duty. And she's like, don't do that. That's a very bad idea. But he's like, no, I got to do my duty. I need to go volunteer and do my part in the war effort. So she takes it upon herself to go on a one-woman black ops mission to protect her husband on the front. And she has access, because of her connections, she has access to basically a super armor weapon, a super weapon that's also armor. It basically turns her into a superhero. It makes her stronger, faster, but it also has built-in weapons and all kinds of things. So it basically turns her into a superhero. And now people are after her because they know that she has this weapon that's very rare, and they want that weapon. So people are trying to get her so that they can get the super suit. And she is on a one-woman mission to protect her husband on the battlefront. And he is in like the front lines in the worst part of the war. So yeah, that's kind of the story. And it's enjoyable. And yeah, the banter, like the comradeship among the soldiers is good, and they've got some nice banter going on, and the characters are not as cookie cutter as you might expect in, you know, a lot of this action adventure military situation. Although it's not deep character work, but it's above average and more not as cookie cutter as you would expect. And I think he's building an interesting world. He is doing like world building to a point that it makes me feel like this is going to be a series. Because I feel like he is setting a lot of things up in this for a bigger world that we could explore in other books. And I could see following these characters on other adventures in other places in different situations. So yeah. The title of this book, here I wrote it down. Angel 6 Echo is the title. Written by Robert Appleton, and it will be released in November sometime. I'm not sure. I can't remember the date in November, but not very long. Definitely, you don't have to wait long for this to come out, if it sounds like your kind of adventure. Yeah, Angel 6 Echo by Robert Appleton. I think as long as nothing really goes downhill in the second half, I think I'm really going to like this. I also started, and I'm about 40% through, a romance. I have not read a romance novel. Well, okay, since I read Jane Eyre last year. That is a romance. But as far as like contemporary romance or like Harlequin romance or fantasy romance, I don't really read genre romance books, hardly at all, except for like Jane Austen and a few classics. But I've had a really snobby attitude, I'll be honest. I've had a real snobbish, I'm too good for this attitude looking down my nose at the genre romance. And I have decided I need to get over that. Yeah. So I'm going to test the waters and find out what part of genre romance is the kind that I enjoy. Yeah. I'm going to see what kind of romances are the kind that will work for me. And so this is the first one I'm trying out. I've heard a lot of BookTube people talk about it. It's a pretty hot release from last year, and I've heard great things. And from the way people talk about it, it sounds like something that I could enjoy. It sounds like a good romantic comedy movie, basically. And I used to really love rom-com movies, and I haven't for a while, and I think that's just because the rom-com movies they've been making haven't been my kind of rom-coms in the last decade or 2 decades. Yeah, I just kind of stopped relating to them or stopped enjoying them very much. But this is kind of like when I heard people talk about it and the characters and the premise, it sounded like that sounds like a rom-com I would enjoy. That sounds like a rom-com I would want to watch. And so why don't I read it? Let's try this. It is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. And basically, Chloe has fibromyalgia, and so she has been living with her family. As an adult, she's in her 20s, but because of her health, she has stayed at home and gotten that extra support, which has been a big help to her. But she she almost gets, in the very beginning, like the first page, she nearly gets hit by a car crossing the street, and it shakes her up. She doesn't get injured or anything, but it's kind of one of those, oh, my life flashed before my eyes, and it made me think about, what am I doing with my life, and am I living my life? And she decides that she hasn't been living her life. She's been just staying too safe and being too protected, and has not pushed herself to find her true limits and to really enjoy life as much as she could and experience life as an independent adult person to the greatest extent that she can. So she makes a list, a life list of things that she's going to do to help her have real life experience and become an independent person and really live a full life. And the first thing on that list is to move out of her parents' house, and that's what she does. And she, the leading man is the superintendent of her new building, and they kind of get off on the wrong foot. It's your typical rom-com situation where they like find each other annoying and there's misunderstanding and they get off on the wrong foot, just like every rom-com, or a lot of rom-coms. But he ends up helping her to do some of the things on her list. And then it goes from there. And reading this book is like a rom-com movie, but it's my kind of rom-com movie. I would love for them to make this into a movie because I think it'd be a great movie and I would watch it. I would so watch this movie. But I'm really enjoying the book so far. And yeah, that's where the reading has been. I did try to watch that Netflix movie adaptation of I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid, and I just didn't get on with it. And then I didn't finish it. I watched part of it and I was like, I'm really not enjoying this. And then I watched some YouTube videos about it because I'm like, I don't know. Is it worth trying to give it another chance, or should I just get it spoiled? Because I did hear that they changed the ending. So I wanted to know, what did they change? But I'm like, maybe I'll just watch some YouTube videos and get it spoiled. Or maybe I'll find out that it's worth sticking with and trying to watch through again. Anyway, I enjoyed watching the YouTube videos that I watched, and I did get it spoiled, and I think I'm glad I didn't watch it all the way through it. I think I'm like, and once I realized who the director was, Spike Jonze. Is it Spike Jonze? I don't know. No, Kaufman, sorry. But he's a really weird director who I'm very hit or miss with his movies. He did I can't even say it. The one with Synecdoche, New York. The one with Oh, and I can't think of the actor's name now too. Sorry, I'm kind of useless right now. Anyway, I've enjoyed a couple of his movies. He did Being John Malkovich, which I was fine. I'm like, this is super weird but enjoyable weird. And he also did Adaptation, which I don't know how I was meh about Adaptation. So when I realized he was the director, I'm like, that's why I wasn't getting on with it. That's one of his movies that's just too weird for me. So yeah. But I did watch Lovecraft Country last night. There's only one more episode left, and I'm not sure how they're going to be able to do it. Like, give us more answers in only like one more hour. I wonder if it might be like a longer episode, like maybe an hour and a half finale. I don't know. I'm hoping that the finale is satisfying. I know we're not gonna like really get a like real neat and tidy wrap up, but I didn't really expect a neat and tidy wrap up. But I hope they at least give us enough answers. But it was a very emotional episode. I think for me, this episode 9 of Lovecraft Country was the most emotional episode for me. I was like, oh wow, all the feelings. I didn't cry, but I was close. I was close to crying, but didn't actually cry. But it was very emotional. And I'm hopeful that I'm gonna like the finale. And I'm hopeful that they might do a season 2. Even if they tell a completely different story. Like do it like kind of like anthology style, where every season is like a different thing, but some of the actors might come back but playing different characters, and as a part of a different story. I think this would work great for that kind of thing. But I mean, they wouldn't have any more book material to work from. They'd have to be building from brand new stories. But, you know, that could be a great jumping off point. I think I would like to, I don't know if that will happen though. I have no idea. But it's been a great ride. And last week's episode was like, yeah. So, how was your week? I hope that you and all your family and loved ones are well. Take care and see you later. Bye-bye.